Hey y'all, we are back. I don't know if I've ever did Married to Medicine. Actually, now I'm saying back. Well, we are here for the first time, I think, with Married to Medicine. And y'all, Married to Medicine is truly that girl of the Bravo shows because they have not really had a flat out bad season yet. Every season they've had has been entertaining in one way or another. So here is season 10. Last season, we had two other people, Contessa and Anila, but they are not here this season, which I kind of figured because I had been watching it back so that I could remember everything and just kind of remember how certain relationships fell out, grew back together, things of that nature. And I figured Contessa wasn't going to come back because it was putting a serious strain on her marriage to be shown on TV. Like I like I mentioned about Robin in Real Housewives of Potomac, I feel the same way about Contessa. She's not really made for reality TV in the sense that when it's things going on in her personal, she can't take people commenting on it. And it had just become a strain on her marriage for this friend group to have to talk about her situation because they were on a show. Because you do have to talk about what goes on the show, whether it hurts your friend's feelings or not. This is just the reality of it. You're on TV. You know, when they're sitting there in their confessionals, it's not like they just sitting there, free-handed speaking. They're being asked questions, and those questions that they answer becomes the confessional. You know what I mean? So Contessa couldn't really take that. Her and Heavenly were going through it because Heavenly is gonna get on that YouTube baby and she is gonna let it rip like she has already, y'all. Her and Carlos King had me in shambles when I watched their interview earlier today. It was just a big old mess, but it was funny nonetheless. And Anila, I knew Anila wouldn't come back because after her home had been robbed twice, and then they were kind of insinuating that Toya was the one who, you know, set up a robbery on her. It's just like at that point, you don't even trust these people on the cast. You shouldn't quite be here either. But I liked Anila and Kieran. I ain't gonna lie. Kieran was a hoot. And Anila had her moments too. My pinto beans. For those who know, they know. So yeah, getting started with this season. This is season 10 of Married to Medicine, episode 1, Southern Sweet Tea. So we start this off, they're showing everybody, in their practice, doing this, doing that, home life, whatever they do, those little scenes. And in the first real scene, we are at a store called The Vault. And this is Phaedra's store, I guess. Phaedra, and I guess she got a co-owner as well. She has the store. And Jackie and Heavenly are talking, and Heavenly's in the confessional saying, like, I love Jackie, but that don't make me no carpet muncher. That's Toya that be eating people. I said she is at the gate on Toya's head, boy. I was hollering. So nothing really happens. There's not too much that happens in this first part of the scene. They kind of go back and forth between. It's like where everybody is. We see the alliances, just like we saw the alliances off rip on Potomac. We see the alliances off rip on here. So we got Jackie and Heavenly at the store at Phaedra's opening, or whatever. And then we've got Simone and Toya at Simone's house hosting Dr. G. So we see already where this is going. So yeah, they at Phaedra's store. They just kind of, the pleasantries. Phaedra is talking about how she dates a doctor. He's from Nigeria. They show some pictures, but they don't show his face. And I heard that she's not even dating him anymore. So, yeah, whatever. So, over at Simone's house, we see they're getting ready for a dinner party. And they're talking about how they ended up ditching the book idea, which, nobody wanted a book from y'all in the first place. Not to be mean, because I love me some Simone and Cecil. Their spell house, my husband and I, our spell house, Spellman and Morehouse, for those who don't know, top black colleges. And so we love us some spell house. So Simone and Cecil are, my faves just for that. And I feel like they have a lot of personality and chemistry within their relationship. Even though they did almost get divorced, that's because they're stubborn, or well, she's stubborn and he's super nonchalant. I still feel like they love each other and they show that they love each other. They do. So they ditched the book idea because they didn't want to relive the whole divorce thing. They felt like it was going to be bad for their marriage and they just did not want to go there. So we see them, Simone don't cook, baby. Anytime somebody coming over, it's takeout, pure takeout. She ain't even gonna pretend like she cooked like Jackie do. Jackie like to pretend like she cooked. She gonna have some takeout. So Toya gets there, and yeah, the first thing I realized, Toya, you got on jeans coming over to your friends for dinner. When just last season you was bashing Audra, which was the friend of the show, for wearing jeans over to somebody's house for dinner. So that was the first thing that stuck out for me. Petty, I know, but it's literally the first thing I thought is like she could have put on a little something. She could have put on like some little slacks and a top or something. She had on jeans and a little sweater like she was going to the supermarket, child. So next we see they're talking about, oh, Greg is getting married again. When did Greg decide he was gonna get married again? He not scarred after quad. I'd be scarred. I wouldn't be trying to marry nobody else after quad, child. That was a crazy marriage. Yada yada yada. They have their giggles, they have their laughs, and that happens. So it goes back over to the store, the vault, and Jackie, I can't remember which one asked. Somebody asked, "Where's Quad? Did you invite Quad?" And Phaedra's like, "Yeah, I invited Quad, but she probably somewhere, I think heavily, she probably somewhere on Instagram with her booty out. She probably somewhere trying to find a man to help her, and this, that, and the third." And then they show a little scene of Quad where she at home playing with her wigs. She trying to curl her wigs. She be talking to them wigs. They all got names. She be setting them up. They all got their own little head to go on. And she was in there playing with them wigs, child, which I'm sure wasn't a real time scene with everybody else. Well, none of this is probably real time. These probably was separate days for everybody. But I know they said that Quad was not filming those first few weeks that they were filming, and she kind of went back and forth on her contracts and everything. But they knew that they wanted Quad on there because they got Dr. Greg's new wife, and hey, what better way to introduce the season than to show ex-wife, new wife, and how they gonna interact? So, I said Greg seems happy now, and you know, Phaedra and Greg are good friends. She was like, "Yeah, I always vetted all the women. I'm like the wing woman. I always vetted all the women before he wanted to get serious with them. I had to check them out. That's how I met Quad." And they were like, "Well, they said you and Dr. G dated. Quad said y'all dated back in the day." And she was like, "Well, let's put some." You could tell she was like, "Dated like how?" Heaven was like, "Y'all dated." Y'all was like this. And Phaedra is just like, "Oh no, wasn't none of that. Wasn't no dato inserto. Wasn't none of that, y'all." And Heavenly's in the confessional like, mm-hmm. But we all know that Phaedra's a liar, so whatever. And that was the first thing I could think about, y'all. It's like, dang, Greg gonna have 3 women on this cast that he done with or is with, between Phaedra, Quiet, and his new wife. That cracked me up. So back at the Whitmores, we see, here comes Greg, Dr. G, and his new wife, Sweet Tea, better known as Letitia. I guess her mama named her Letitia, better known as Sweet Tea. They get there. Dr. G is 56 and Sweet Tea is 31. Y'all. It was already weird when he was with, not gonna say weird, but it was already, when he was with Quad and they was 16 years apart. So for him to go and find somebody 23 years younger than him, like you could literally have had her, she could literally be your child. It's just interesting. But I knew that he would find a woman under 40 because he wants children. So you gotta have a young woman. You can't go find, a 45-year-old woman and be like, I want to have a baby. Your chances are slim on having a baby with a 45-year-old woman. So he went and got him a 31-year-old woman. Or should I say, she got him. So they asked him what made her special, because I'm sure you had a lot of DMs. I'm sure you had a lot of crazy DMs. He's like, yeah, I had a lot of crazy DMs. Women would be sending me pictures of them in the shower, like I'm naked right now. You naked right now? And he's just going on about how crazy these DMs was, and they like looking at Letitia like, well, calm down, your girl right here. And Letitia is in the confessional. I was one of them DMs. She sent him a DM saying, I can give you what you need, with a rose emoji and a baby emoji. And he was like, you don't even live in Atlanta. And she said, I'm not that far. And apparently she got flued out, honey. She got flued out, and the rest is history, I suppose. And they basically like started making out in the middle of the kitchen, just hugged upon each other, kissing and stuff. And Toya is just looking so googly eyed. Eugene, come over here and give me a kiss. Eugene said. And so she is all googly eyed at they, fresh new love and, whatever. But everybody feels like Toya is taking Sweet Tea under her wing to spite Quad. Because, her and Quad, they always had an up and down relationship. They had a few moments where they were loving and friends, but for the most part, they've been at each other's necks. Quad telling people Toya begged, borrowed, and stole to get that house, and da da da, and then Quad believing and perpetuating that Toya did have a hand in Anila's house getting robbed. So, to be honest, I can't even blame Toya for being like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm real cool with the new wife. Oh, well, child, it is what it is. So, next we see Alora and Heavenly, y'all. That's so crazy because when we first saw Alora on this show, she was like 7 years old, 8 years old. Now she is getting ready for prom. So Heavenly's like, okay, she looked like she took her lunch break. Heavenly took her lunch break. Alora just got from school. She had on her backpack and all. And they're going prom dress shopping. And she gonna tell them, Heavenly said, so she got a lot of breasts, so we need to cover them up. We need to cover these up. But we see Alora in some really cute prom dresses, and it's just so interesting because you get to see these kids grow up on television. So we see where Heavenly is like, I'm glad that she, want to go to FAMU because that's my alma mater, but I just wish you would stay in state because my boys, they went to school in state, so I was still able to see them. And she's asking her, well, why don't you just go to Spelman? And she's like, no, I'm not going to Spelman. That is right down the street. You're going to be trying to bother me. No, ma'am, it's not happening. And yeah, I already knew Alora went to FAMU because I follow Heavenly on social media. And I guess they had went out for like homecoming last year. They had on their little matching FAMU shirts, and they just have such a cute mother-daughter relationship, and I just totally admire those type of relationships because I be looking like, oh, is that how me and Melina gonna be in like 15 years or whatever? I really hope Melina goes to Spelman. I hope she follows in my footsteps and goes to Spelman, y'all. So I feel Heavenly on that part. They were so cute. So Heaven was like, all right, I got to get back to work, so I'm going to just leave my card. Here you go. I think that prom dress was like $2,500 or something like that. I said, well, go on in, Alora. My prom dress is probably barely $200. But when, I like that they are affording their children the things that they couldn't have. You know what I mean? So Alora got her dang near $3,000 prom dress, and I'm sure she got that Range Rover outside that she got for her 16th birthday. And go Alora, go on ahead. So next we are at the engagement party, y'all. The engagement party is a hoedown because Tisha slash Sweet Tea, Dr. G's new wife, she's from Texas, so she is super duper country. She is so country, y'all. It's just so funny to hear her talking. They Heavenly was making fun of her accent on the daggone. Let's see, January. I'm looking at. I got it planned in the back, so I was trying to see when she had DM'd him and how all that went down. It looked like it was January of this year, I think. Huh. All right. So it's a hoedown engagement party, and she's nervous about meeting the ladies because these ladies are Dr. G's friends' wives. So she has to make a good impression because clearly she's gonna be on this show as a part of the cast. So she's nervous about, really getting to know these ladies. Jackie calls Heavenly and she's like, "Oh, how you feel going to Quiet's house? We ain't been to Quiet's house in like 5 years." I said, "Not y'all calling it Quiet house." Even though, Quiet been moved from up under that house and divorced Dr. G and all of that. So she was like, I done been over there before. This Heavenly, I done been over there before. It looked different. I think Quiet had an interior designer to whereas Sweet Tea, she's more of a Tarjay kind of girl. So, like I said, we see the alliances already. Heavenly and Jackie and Toya and Simone, they're riding together with their husbands to the party. When Jackie gets there, Jackie says that they were like, "Where's Curtis?" Curtis is in the Dominican Republic. Doing what? Doing what? I'm sorry, where did you, huh? You in the Dominican doing what? So that had me taken aback because I'm like, oh Lord. Anyway, I'm sure they're gonna have to address it. What was Curtis doing in the Dominican Republic, especially without Jackie? But all right. So Jackie walking around and she being messy too. Jackie was walking around the house like, oh, let's see what's different. Now this room, it used to be purple, right? This room was purple. Tisha was like, yeah, it was purple. I changed it. And so they going to get some food, and y'all, this cracked me up because when they lifted the pan and it was them big old giraffe ribs in there. So I'm like, some big old ribs. And I automatically thought in my head, ooh, that food probably nasty or real mediocre because if your butcher don't even care about where they getting this meat from, ain't no telling what the other stuff is cooked like. So that was my first thought when I saw them big old ribs sitting in that tray. Because I think it was Toya who mentioned how big the ribs was. And then somebody else joins the party, which I had seen on, I think, Wikipedia, that she was going to be back around, was Dr. Alicia. Now, we probably don't remember Dr. Alicia because she was just there for a brief moment when they were in D.C., and I didn't like her because she seemed kind of rude then. They had invited, some of their friends that lived in D.C., some other doctors, dentists, doctors' wives, or whatever, when they were in D.C. for the March on Washington was it last season? I think it was the season before last. But Dr. Alicia was like, I done been here 10 minutes and I still ain't ate nothing. Girl, what? Did they tell you that you was coming here to eat? This ain't no dinner party. They said come over to chill out by the pool and have some drinks. So the fact that she demanded some food, it was just so off-putting. And it felt like, okay, Dr. Alicia is trying to be on one of these Bravo shows. She's trying to be Cash. She want a champagne flute. She want, whatever the Potomac girls got. She's trying to be somewhere between Married to Medicine or Real Housewives of Potomac. She was doing way too much, and it just put me in the game, coach. And I guess she in the game now, so here we go. So Phaedra gets there, and this part cracks me up, y'all, because I'm going to be going back and forth between the episode and what Heavenly and Carlos King was talking about on their review together. So Heavenly said, now listen, if Phaedra compliments your outfit, you probably just need to go home and change. Cause she's so freaking shady. So Phaedra gets there and she's like, okay. First she looking like, well, who is who? Because Letitia has twin. And they're fraternal twins, but they do look like they could be identical twins. They look just alike, y'all. So of course, I mean, Phaedra was doing the most because, of course, the Letitia's gonna be the one in all white. It's her engagement party, but you know, Phaedra gotta be her inauthentic extra self, y'all. So she tells her, "Turn around, let me see your booty." And Letitia turns around, and she said in the confessional, she said, "Sweet tea from Texas," and she got them big old Texas draws to match. And y'all, that was the first thing I had noticed. Not the first thing I say, but like the second thing I had noticed when she hopped on the scene at that engagement party, because she had those little shorts. The outfit was cute. Don't get me wrong. She had those little shorts. They weren't like cut across shorts. They were like cut up like a swimsuit top, almost like bikini pants. But they weren't as small as bikinis. But it was like a mix between bikinis and shorts. And you can see it was all white, and you can see her black underwear from up under the white pants. So that annoyed me because it's like, girl, why wouldn't you put on a thong or some smaller underwear to go up under these little bitty shorts? You got these big old Texas draws, as Phaedra said, up under these shorts. So next we talk about how Eugene done slammed down, y'all. He done lost some weight, and he said Jackie put him on the, what did he say, semaglutide. Semaglutide shots, which is like, I think he's like the off-brand of Ozempic, and he's looking good. He's definitely lost some weight. He's talking about how he got more stamina in the bedroom. He got more energy throughout the day. And I ain't gonna lie, I've been kind of contemplating the shots too. Not seriously, but I be looking at it because the Medi Spa that I get my facials at, they have the semaglutide shots for weight loss or whatever, the weekly shots. So I was like, are these the Ozempic shots? And basically it is. It's not the name brand Ozempic, but it's the same thing. So that's what Eugene is on, and it's doing him good. I know a few people that's been on it, and that's interesting. I guess it like curbs your appetite or whatever, things like that. So the guys go out back and they're smoking cigars. So the ladies are there, everybody's there. Some of Sweet Tea's friends come. She introduced them. They sit on down. And they asked her, what do you like most? Well, I think it was Phaedra. Phaedra Heavenly asked her, what do you like most about being engaged? She said, I get a little access to the money, child. Everybody just goes silent. And then I think Heavenly asked, so have you ever been called a gold digger? Either Phaedra or Heavenly asked if she ever been called a gold digger. And Heavenly in the confessional, well, Quad was a gold digger, but Sweet Tea, I don't think she ever seen no gold. Maybe she's a copper digger. Yeah, maybe copper. So right then, Toya brings up Quad. And I don't even know how she segued Quad's name into this. And then she asked Phaedra if Phaedra is handling Quad's DUI case. And everybody's just kind of looking like, girl, what? And this is those moments where Toya be getting on my nerve. Like, Toya is 50-50. It's a flip of the coin how I feel about Toya. Because sometimes she's fun, she's hilarious, she's giving a moment. And then sometimes she's just doing so much and it's so ill-timed. And this was one of those times. Because one, you're trying to blow Quad's spot up for allegedly having a DUI. And two, you're bringing this up at her ex-husband's engagement party. So everybody just kind of looking like, what? And she's in the confessional saying, well, I'm not one to just, run with gossip I hear, but I did look it up, and, it's public knowledge. It's public information that she got a DUI. And Sweet Tea is like, we're not going to make this about her. We're not finna have this conversation. But they started talking about, did they start talking about kids? I can't remember how they got to this conversation either. But Sweet Tea thanked Simone for referring her to a specialist for her fibroids. And this is Heavenly's moment, y'all. She said, "Ooh, I got a chance to be messy. I got a chance to make it a Jackie versus Simone moment." Because y'all know Heavenly is like one of those on scene, behind the scene producers. She knows, and she has said this on her YouTube a couple of times, that if they have a scene, if they have a gathering where everybody gets together and it's just, a regular conversation, nothing ever happens, that's not gonna make the cut. That's gonna be left on the cutting room floor. People ain't checking for them scenes. We need to have some type of argument, some type of turmoil for this stuff to, you know, be a moment, for it to be a memorable episode. And this is where she found her moment, y'all. So she asked her, "Well, why didn't you refer her to Jackie? Why didn't you send her to Jackie?" And of course, this gets Simone to debating with her, and Heavenly's not letting down. So Simone starts screaming, and it's like they fall for it every time. She loves to rile Simone up. Simone is probably the easiest to, get to hollering, because she just hollers for no daggone reason. This is America, and I get to choose who I mess with. She gonna holler about any and everything, y'all. So Sweet Tea is trying to talk, but they still arguing, whatever. And the twin was like, "Y'all need to hush. This her house. Y'all hear her trying to speak." And I was like, "Come on, sis." They was like, "Well, if she's Sweet Tea, what they call you? Mean Tea?" Which was funny, because it's like, yeah, they opposites for real. Cause Sweet Tea, she real sweet, real, like she's saying, real soft spoken. She ain't really gonna go there unless she's truly provoked. So next, Phaedra says, "I want to clear the air." And then Heaven was like, "You never slept with Greg?" Heavenly is so messy, but it makes for some moments. I am not gonna lie. It makes for some moments, y'all. And like I said, Heavenly said that she had been over to the house before. Most of them had. So I guess she thought that Sweet Tea rather, thought that they were friends. She was like, "Yeah, we found out at one point," which we see in the preview. She was like, "She gonna tell me, I thought you was my friend, Heavenly. I thought you was my friend." Heavenly said, "Girl, I'm for the streets." I was crying laughing, because why is she such a fool, y'all? So that's how the episode. No, that's not how the episode ended. Next, we see the kind of in between scenes where they talking about it. Toya and Simone, they out at lunch. They was like, "Girl, last night was crazy, right?" Jackie and Heavenly, they in Jackie's office talking about it, and she was like, "The food was nasty. Did she cook that? Did she cook that?" She said, "No, she catered it. Well, that food was nasty. Quiet food wouldn't have been nasty." And I told y'all that food looked like it was nasty just from the cut of the ribs. Like, when food is just so irregularly shaped like that, and you like a professional business at that, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Can't trust it. Can't trust it. So next, the last scene is we see Sweet Tea and Dr. G debriefing about the engagement party, and she's feeling away because the girls kept bringing up Quad, and she's like, "Well, there's a new sheriff in town, and they gotta understand this, and they ain't gonna be talking about her, and they're going to get their marriage license." So as they're saying this, and they give us like a little flash forward at the end of the episode, they're like, "Yeah, all the time that we've been together, I haven't had any red flags. We haven't seen any red flags. Dun dun dun." And they flash a scene 2 weeks later, and it's baby all the red flags. They arguing. They talking about how she said that he's controlling, and you know, basically the same things that was going on with him and Quad is seeming like it's gonna come up with him and Sweet Tea. And even so much like they showed a scene from his bachelor party where he said, "If my pants come down, they ain't going back up." Not that you admitting on camera that if you get the chance, you finna smash a stripper. Like, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this season goes. I am so very tuned in, y'all. I'm so very tuned in, because Sweet Tea is already making herself kind of unlikable for the viewers, because You showing that you thirsty. So we know that you a fan. You've been watching this show, so that's why you know that he want a baby. You gonna DM him. I can give you what you need. You get flued out. She said she walked through the house with her suitcase. That's nice. That's good. That's nice. I can do this. I can do this. And then they ask you your favorite part about being engaged, and you talking about money, having access to his money. So it's gonna be interesting to see if those same things come up like it really did in Quad and G's marriage, or if they just kind of putting 20 on 10 for the sake of getting people to watch it from the trailer slash previews. But it's looking like it's gonna be some stuff, and it's looking like it is gonna be down to the T, because it's looking like he's having a moment of he don't know if he gonna get married. And if you remember back to season one, I think episode one of Married to Medicine, where either Toya or Carrie brought up that Dr. G had texted everybody saying that the wedding was off with him and Quad. So it's gonna be interesting to see how everything goes, if Dr. G's still the same person as he was when he was with Quad and all of that. And yeah, maybe we'll see Quad in the next episode, which I think we do. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the next episode or the one after that. But it looks like Quad showed up to the girl bachelorette party. So that's gonna be a hot mess all in itself, y'all. And I am definitely gonna be here to review it. I would definitely rate this episode. I'm gonna just say a 10. I'm gonna give it a 10. It gave us everything we needed. It gave us laughs. It gave us a recap of what everybody been doing. It gave us enough drama to where we like, ooh, we finna get it started this season, but not too much that we felt overwhelmed by it. So I'm gonna say this episode is a 9.5/10. Like the video, y'all. Comment down in the comments section. Let me know what you would rate this episode, or any other thoughts about this episode. Subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. And that's it, y'all. Bye bye.